Well, this is my shop. We're building a Raritan, which is a 3.5-inch gauge locomotive. We're not building the locomotive, not yet anyway, but we're building the riding car because I have a 3.5-inch gauge LBSC titch, and I had these plans and some of the parts to make the Raritan riding car, and it's very cool. This episode, this will be the number 10 episode in the series, and we basically made the side frames with all the nice stake pockets here, the truss rods, the center plate, the little handle underneath, and we installed the bolsters into the side frames. So we've got it basically an operational chassis here. The next thing to do will be to rig up the brakes and do some of the finish work on here so it's actually fully functional. So I will get to those things next time. As always, though, I do appreciate you watching. I hope this is entertaining to you. If you have any questions, please ask. If you don't have questions but you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up because it always encourages me to make more videos like this. And I do appreciate everybody's participation in the channel. I appreciate your patience too. Usually I used to try to publish one video every week, and I just don't have time in the shop to get much done during a week. So this has been about a month since I published the last video. But I appreciate your indulgence. I hope this one, I think you'll find it very interesting and worthwhile. It certainly was a cool project, and I'm really excited to get this far. So thanks everybody. I hope you have a great week. Making the center bar here out of 3/16" steel, and I've just milled it the exact width of 6 1/8 inches, so you can see that there. I was inspired. I watched Blondie Hack's most recent video where she was talking about her super caliper. Well, this is my super caliper too, so excited to pull it out and use it and get to the exact dimensions. This is like a 1 foot long stare-it dial indicator thing. Got it off of Craigslist many years ago and really happy with it. So now we'll take the steel bar and mill it. We'll tip it up on end and mill it down to 5/8 inch tall. Here's the second 1/8 inch bottom hole. Made them 350 thou deep, even though the plans didn't specify. I figured that'd be enough. About half the depth of the material. Alright, I've drilled and tapped the 440 holes and the end piece here of the center bar. Came up with this unique clamping solution. Very pleased about it because it's supporting that strap just like it needs to be. And this is the little machine shop table. They're a little jig table, so found a handy use for it. It's a perfect size for getting this done. Now all I got to do is flip this over and do the other side. For the side frames, what I decided to do was to clamp them together and drill just some simple 3/16 inch holes, and then use some 1032 ordinary bolts with lock washers and nuts. I already did one on this end here. You can see I've got it tightened down, and I've got the bar clamped in place and in the 6-inch jaw. So I mean, the thing is just less than 32 inches. Obviously it's not really great to have all this unsupported out here, but it's only 1/8 inch steel, so it's not really drooping or anything. And I've got it securely clamped. So I've just drilled another 3/16 inch hole. I'm going to bolt this end down, and then I'll mill both ends together to get it down to the exact right distance, and then I can progress with drilling the holes in the side that need to be in place. And I'll talk more about those in a second. My big point is that the only things that really need to be exact are the holes where the pins that hold the bolster in the side are. So we'll get to that. Everything else doesn't need a great deal of precision. So it's kind of a comforting thing for the layout. Now here I'm just showing how I marked off the correct length is 31 7/8 inches. So I carefully marked that off. I blued the end, and then I used a little square and scriber, and I scribed the line. I just it's a little shy of 31 7/8. So what I'm going to do is just mill up so I can still barely see the line I just made. And then we'll have the proper length. So just milling off about an 1/8 inch off the end of this piece. And it's pretty solid. This is the two pieces bolted together. I suppose I could put another bolt in the middle, but I think we're in good shape. And here we go. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. You can just barely see the line. I crept up on it like 20 thou at a time, and then the last cut I took was 5 thou. You can just see a shade of blue beyond the scribe line that I made. So I think it's perfect right there. Heck, it's got to be within 5 or 10 thou. So I'm gonna call that good. We take it out and deburr it, and we'll mark out our holes. One of the perplexing things with the side frames is these holes all along the top here. They're number 55 holes. There's 14 of them, 5/8 inch apart, and basically 4.5 inches apart from each other. So there's 7 side pockets that have to get bolted on there. And obviously with something this long, a piece this long, finding a way to fixture it is a challenge. Now I could have taken off the vise and my rotary table and put something down on the table and done it all because it's long enough. But I wanted to show you this technique I came up with, and I think it worked out really well. I indicated my vise 0, 0 here, and I stepped down the 3/16 of an inch that all these holes are down from the top. And then with the part flush with the end, I went in the required length. I think it was 2 1/8 inches, and I made the first set. And then I was able to make a couple sets with the original fixturing, the original setup. But for the subsequent ones, what I would do is loosen the vise, and I could slide the piece down, and it's supported by the rotary table. And then I would indicate a 0 here. I'd use the drill, align the part in there, and that's the 0 mark, and then clamp the part tight, and then I could move it over. This one is 4.5 inches, and the second one is 5 1/8. So you can see on the DRO, and that's the final one, and it worked out good. It was fairly fast. So I just wanted to point that out as one potential solution. Of course, it's not a highly sensitive spacing. They're just side pockets, so you could literally mark them out by hand and drill them on a drill press, and it wouldn't be any worse. But trying to be as precise as possible. So I got the first side drilled, all the little locating holes, the mounting holes, and then these are the holes for the bolster pins. And I need to do that on this side as well. And then there's some holes for the center brace and some of the braces that support the truss rod. So there's quite a bit of work left to do on the side frames, but this is a good start. And here's what the frame looks like, the bare frame, just kind of gently screwed together. Started by assembling the center section, just put some screws in there, that's fine. The front section that has the mounts for the brake came together pretty good. I need to do a little filing to make that fit perfectly, but this all fit well. Now, the humorous part, sort of, I'm just laughing to make the best of it. I knew I had made this too short. I'd gotten in a rush when I assembled the rear bolster, and I had tried to adjust and measure carefully the holes here. Well, I messed it up. You'll see here. That's the strap. Man, it's like almost 1/4 inch, a couple hundred thou off. So I thought about trying to, mess around with the holes here, move these holes to make it work, because I'd already done all this and drilled and tapped the ends of the strap. But I thought I would regret that if I didn't. I have the time now. I'm not in a huge rush. I've got extra material, so I'm going to make a brand new strap here. So I disassembled it. There's the little housing that goes around the outside here. So what I need to do is to make the pins part 3717, out of 5/16 inch steel, turned a little bit, an 1/8 of an inch down to a 1/4 inch, which is the size of the holes here on the side frame. And then I can put this in exactly, and see, right now I've just got some 1/4 inch bolts in there. So then I can get an exact measurement, and then so I guess tomorrow I'll spend the time to remake a new strap. But that'll be fine. Like I said, may as well do it right. So I'll make the pins for here, for both sides, and I need to figure out something with these. What I ended up doing, I tapped the upper portions of these corner blocks 1024, and it's holding it together nicely. So I may just leave that, or may make a custom bolt for it. I don't know, like a shoulder bolt type arrangement. So we'll see about that, but pretty excited about how it looks so far. You can get a good idea about the frame, and got my work cut out for me to make it just right. Then once I have this solid, so to speak, then I can, work on making the doodads, as I called it, the little mounts for the vertical mounts for the truss rod will go here, the horizontal supports for the bed will go here, and then all these little holes along here are for the stake pockets. So it'll be kind of artistic and nice looking when I have all that done, and then I can attach the actual trucks to the bolsters and then run the brake rigging. Pretty cool. Hope you're as interested in this as I am. I'm just glad to be out here in the workshop getting some work done finally. Just thought I'd show a quick shot of, this is what the pins look like, which are used to go in these holes here. Let me see if I can do this one-handed. There we go. So this orients the bolster in the side frames, and it'll either be silver soldered or permanently fastened one way or another. Easier said than done about the one-handed. Let me put it together and I'll bring you back. Okay, there we go. So you can see, one thing I did was I turned the little step up a little longer. Instead of just an 1/8 inch, I made them 135 thou, and then so that gives the nice physical connection between the bolsters and the side frames. And now I can put the end plate back in place and measure and remake this piece here. Okay, starting to work on the doodads, as I called them. I've cut out and already drilled and tapped the little 4 floor supports that will go right here, and I've cut out and milled the size of the 4 truss supports. I used some regular flat bar hot rolled steel that I got at the Home Depot. It's 3/16 inch thick, 3/4 by 3/6. This is 3/4 inch wide, 3/16 inch thick. So I cut out the pieces that I need and milled them to size. I didn't video that because it's obviously pretty basic, and I deburred them carefully so they're all nice uniform size and easy to work on. And so tonight I'll be drilling the holes in the sides here. These get 2 440 holes drilled and tapped in them in the sides, and then an 1/8 inch hole down at the bottom, and they'll go along here like that. And then I'll round off the bottom as well, so that'll support the truss rod. So I'm not going to video that whole process, but I thought I'd show the pieces. Just, it's nothing to it. It would be a lot easier if I bought cold rolled steel in this exact size, and I wouldn't have to go through the process of milling them like this. But the hot rolled is fairly inexpensive, and it was not a big deal to cut it and mill it to size.